Hello, everyone, and welcome to our May 16th episode of Ops Oops Origami.
It seems unreal.
But the year's half
Uh,
over, or what?
right. Well, that we've been doing this for a half a year.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's only been like 20 episodes, but
I mean, if this show were a baby, we would be like well on the way to having a child that was definitely going to live to six.
yeah.
Just saying.
I assume that there's some statistics behind that. Is the six
So,
month mark the magic number?
no. So if you have a baby, the odds of your child dying in the first year are the highest that they're going to be until they're able to like get out and do stupid things for themselves.
Ah,
Um,
makes sense.
and the the percentages go down like markedly. Like first 2 weeks, if your child survives, they're actually likely to survive basically to adulthood. But so essentially, like every exponential milestone leads to them being more and more likely to survive long term. So like one day, 2 weeks, um, 2 months, 6 months, and then by a year, the statistics are like, yes, there are people or children that die between a year and 6 years, but it's compared to the number that die between like birth and 2 weeks, it's vanishingly small, which is really depressing for new parents. Which is why when there are new parents on the planet and they're worried about like, am I doing this right? Am I ruining my child for life? I congratulate them at the 2 week mark, the 1 month mark, the 2 month mark, and the 6 month mark. And then a year, like, hey, congratulations, you got your child to this point. That is not an accident. They can't do it by themselves.
Hmm. If I knew those stats, I had forgotten them. Now that my oldest son is turning 21 in about 2 weeks, and my youngest is not that far away from 20.
Wait. Are we going to do the creepiest thing on the planet
No.
and like take your oldest son out for his 21st birthday?
No, he's already got plans for his 21st, but
Tell him to
we can do it
cancel him because
slightly after that.
nobody wrecks your life like old dudes taking you out when you're young. You think you can drink a lot until the old timers get in there and like, let me show you how to drink, son.
Yeah.
Actually, we should just find out where they're going and crash.
It's out of state.
All right, fine.
He doesn't actually know where it is yet, but I do.
Good for you and for him. That's trust.
Oh, hey, Jesse. How you doing?
Hi. How am I coming through?
Oh, you're pretty good.
Am I pretty
Video
good?
actually looks
Okay.
pretty solid. Yeah, got some nice scenery out on the old deck
Uh,
there.
is the audio
Yeah,
good?
It's
audio's
Audio's
good
good.
okay.
enough. Yeah.
How
Audio's good
far
enough.
south are you to get that much sun at this point in the day?
I probably straight shot west of Brian.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
I think his camera's
Brian's
doing
just
a lot of heavy
inside.
lifting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fading fast though. This is like you'll just see like maybe part of me in a half hour or so.
Yeah.
I
Just the
might move
light
it
from the
inside.
screen.
Yeah. The lighting out here needs work, so
Yeah.
one of many jobs naturally.
Well, now you have the awesome option of all kinds of LED
Oh yeah.
contraptions that can do all kinds of cool shit.
Oh, the the lady uh, who owned the house before me must have, well, one, she was crazy, and two, two, she must have not cared what her electric bill was, because there were incandescents everywhere, and this house has a lot of lights. Like I replaced like two batches of Like I replaced all the lights that were used the most with LEDs and dimmers. Not a single dimmer in the house. Did the Menard special when they had those, and
Like
then I
job.
was like, after that, it was just more LEDs. So it's like, wow. Oh, she had some halogens and some accent lights too. Like I could fry a steak on those.
Oh yeah.
You know, halogens, super bright, actually a
Yeah.
great color temperature, but
Yeah.
wow, they are energy hungry.
Oh yeah.
They were baking the fixtures they were in, and I did some like Googling because that's a unique kind of like a cigarette style bulb. I don't know which. I forgot the bulb style
Yeah.
when I bought it, but yeah, they make LED just drop-ins
Drop-ins.
for those.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah,
Well, because
At like
I mean, like
half
those work
power,
lights.
but, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, probably a 10% of it. You get
Oh,
like
yeah.
those 300-watt work lights, those halogen work
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah.
Man, that's 20
It's like
watts of light and 280 watts of just heat.
Yeah, it's like a buck
Which
a
is
minute.
awesome in a cold garage in the middle of winter, but
Exactly. It's like, hey, you know, I got a space heater, but
Yeah. Like the joys of homeownership.
oh, that's funny, William.
yeah. Oh no, I don't even have the.
William's buying the good
Oh,
LEDs.
Oh, okay. So not from work.
Come on, at least a third of my LEDs bought from that location
Yeah.
are still working.
Which is amazing. How you
2 years.
possibly have LEDs that fail that quickly.
I can tell you all kinds of stories about awful things that people do to LEDs. And the debates I've had with people about them.
It's been dialed in pretty good. I mean, we went through the CFL hell, right?
Oh yeah, that was the stupidest thing ever.
That was a bad decision. I'm
The
no
lights garbage.
environmentalist,
They're not that efficient.
all that mercury,
And they have
is
mercury
now,
in them.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
God, terrible. Yeah. So they've been pretty good. What I don't understand are people who don't take, they buy like the 5,000K light and then just put them everywhere. And it's like you're walking through a surgical room. It's like 2,700K or bust, baby. Bring
Well,
it.
it depends on where.
The worst color temperature on the planet is 4K. Nothing looks good. Nothing.
Yeah,
like at least
2,700 is too warm though. Maybe a bedroom or something.
In the bathroom, utility stuff, I would go higher, but
Bathroom,
pretty much
closet,
all my stuff is like,
especially closets, because I want the color on the clothes I'm picking out to be the right color. And you need like 5K, 5,500.
Even with high CRI, I will still mix color temperature. Because you know what? I don't care how good the CRI is. It's still not the sun.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Can you buy high CRI in the store for just regular screw-in style?
It's like 95%, 98% is about the best you're going to get. But that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, 98s you're really going to have to look for. You pretty much have to buy them online at that point.
Yeah.
95s are pretty commonplace. I think I've seen up to like 97 at Menards and at big box stores.
Here's the thing. When they say like 95, it's on a 100-point scale, right? That 100-point scale is still like, hey, it's adequate.
Is that scale exponential, like
graph.
dB scale? Is that like a dB scale where it's exponential?
No, because it's across it's across a range. It's kind of how much do you fill in that range?
Yeah, it's a
versus
bunch of
super peaky.
It's a bunch of BS. Is
more like rounded spectrum.
Yeah, so if you look like an incandescent, it kind of goes up and it's pretty even across. Whereas if you look like older LEDs or like CFLs, there's like very abrupt spikes at different color temperatures.
Okay.
And blended together, they're not that bad until you need some color accuracy.
Right.
Then you really notice those missing colors.
But like, so
Yeah.
working in theatrical lighting, I work with some of the, like, they don't put CRI ratings on them because it's unimportant to theatrical people. They expect you to have a minimum level of quality. The best theatrical fixtures now are adding stuff in like the near infrared spectrum because it fleshes things out, and like
Oh yeah.
areas of the UV spectrum, and like not just like a little bit, but huge amounts of energy into those spectrums because there's color reproduction that you just
Oh.
can't do without it.
Absolutely. Well, when you're trying to get a sunlight equivalent, there's a lot of things that ever so slightly fluoresce that you don't notice until it's gone. And the sun
Hello?
does that because it's got that UV,
Want to
but
come join the show for a minute?
oh.
We're going to have a guest.
Oh, uh-oh.
Okay, then you got to go to bed.
Maybe not.
Or not. Red hair, don't care.
She used to be in love with Brian, and I think secretly still is. Offended that he got married
Oh yeah.
and that she realized that that had happened. She's
She
like,
chose
I
another
thought you were
girl."
saving yourself for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bedtime.
So they are starting to mix in UV and near infrared and
Yeah, no.
theater lighting.
So if you want to see the best fixture currently on the planet, in my humble estimation, it's not humble at all. ETC's Gen 3 Source 4 LED.
Okay.
They've got a nice presentation. They go over some of the stuff they've added to it. It's when you look at the photometrics for it, like it's starting to look like incandescent, except
Mhm.
where incandescent like falls off pretty quick in certain uses. This doesn't. It's
Yeah.
everything you hope for in LED. And for, $3,000-$4,000 a fixture that's gonna last you for like maybe 3,000 hours, it's great.
Yeah.
It'll
How
last
are-
more than 3,000 hours, but
What are cooler are those RGB source 4s?
yeah, no. If you want, the other thing they've got in their Gen 3 is they've got white balanced. So multi-temperature white
Yep.
is their focus. It still does full color, but instead of like the UV range, they pack it with other
Multiple
white
whites.
LEDs.
Yeah,
so
so you
that
have
you
a
can
they'll have a 6K white and then also like a 2700K white, and you can blend them in pretty good. They probably have
really
even
high
more
quality.
than just the two. But yeah,
Yeah.
like my ring light is it's a bi white LED, and you can adjust the mixtures to kind of
Yeah.
pretty much get any color temperature you want.
Yeah. ETC, like when they were doing their second gen LEDs, they were adding lime because it's super, like a lime color is super critical for mixing certain blues and greens and
Okay.
yellows to some extent. So if you want to do different colors, like if you've always wondered why the blue looks kind of meh, or your greens are like, I wish I could actually do green. It's because it doesn't have things like lime in it. But no, with the infrared stuff, LED is now approaching the like warmth and quality of incandescent, which is one of the things people have complained about for years. Like, LED great, like it looks like it should work right, but for some reason it just doesn't feel warm to me. It's because it's not. Like it's missing that thing that we as humans know.
Yep.
So don't get rid of those halogens until you're ready to spend lots of money.
Well, I'd rather have a little bit of modestly poor quality light in my living room than the dollar an hour it takes to
So, fun story. You can throw in like a 40-watt incandescent into your mix, and it will add the spectrums that you need, and not going to cost you that much. You don't need much. You just need a little bit to bump it. You run it hot, but
yeah, and I am a fan of dimmer switches, not for like in a professional setting, but like household setting. Like I like the dimmer.
He also likes track lighting, if you know what I mean.
heyo,
No, I don't like track lighting actually, but yes.
the full 12 inches of track lighting, all 12 inches.
All 12
Oh, Chris.
This is not that show. We're not talking about it.
Yeah, this
Nope,
is going on the
nope.
internet.
That's
PG-rated.
that's absolute origami
This show
after
is
dark.
not PG. At best, it's PG-13.
Yeah.
Remember, the rating boards do not like it if you drop F-bombs.
No, we've been there.
We have. I'm trying to convince William to show up. I sent it to his work email. I don't know if he's going to see it.
No, probably not. But now he might go check.
Maybe. It's my crazy eyes.
So we've covered bulb talk with Chris.
Welcome to Bulb Talk.
Welcome to
Bulb Talk.
By the way, I just want to, since you said Bulb Talk, I'm going to be that pedantic geek. In the lighting industry, we don't call them bulbs, we call them lamps. The bulb is the glass bit on the end. The fixture is the thing that the lamp goes into.
Yeah.
Oh, William, I just sent it to you.
He's just chicken.
It's all right. He could join with just audio. He's got a great voice.
Does he?
Yeah, it's like a radio voice.
Me, I've got a face for radio, so.
Me too. Anyway, so we've talked about Bulb Talk.
Yes. So the main thing I don't know if it's even going to be the main thing, but one of the things we wanted to talk about is very generally, probably call it just ethics in IT. The thing that kind of brought this to the front of my brain is a recent story, I believe it was from China, of the sysadmin that deleted his company's database and just got, he did it like 3 years ago or something like that. He just got sent to prison for 7 years.
Go ahead, finish up, and then I have 3 comments.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that happens periodically, and it's something that all of us have daydreamed about. Most of us are smart enough not to do it.
The real smart ones know how to not get caught.
Yeah, well.
Not that you would, but.
Yeah.
So,
let's have your 3 points, Chris.
I just added a 4th.
Shit, William just came on.
Woohoo!
Hey.
The man, the myth,
the
legend, William Blader.
Much. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Heard many things. Don't think we ever had the pleasure of meeting in person.
I don't believe so. I don't think there was any overlap.
Although I've seen your handiwork.
Oh boy. In my defense, I never got to finish.
That's the way it always is, right?
Oh, I know. Well, it was always, as soon as I'm finished, then I'm going to start looking for another place. But there was always one project after another. There was always something to do. And I actually was in the middle of redoing all the policies and the firewalls when I got the ungraceful send-off for the whole team. So that stuff is probably pretty ugly. Hopefully it was fixed at some point.
someone else has taken up that mantle and is
Yes.
currently redoing all those.
Yes. And my name is probably a curse word in their vocabulary, which, whatever, I'm fine with. Not my problem anymore.
No, I've had issues actually with people from before your time. People that may have been done working there before you even got there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
You find out people that have used their actual username to run systems, and no one knows why it doesn't work anymore.
Oh, God. Yeah, I found many of those over the 11 years I was there. Yeah, they like doing that for some reason.
Oh, William.
Why have a service account when you
I-
can just use your own login?
By the way, Chris, that is why the test environment for the old thing that we that shall not be named was not working. Is because a previous employee used their username as the ownership their account to own the database and to run the services.
I haven't been there in a month and a half, and still I have a sinking pit in my heart right now.
It works now. I
Hey.
discovered it. I fixed it.
Well done, sir. Well done. By the way, if anybody has any questions about who the best IT person on this call is, it's not me. Candidates in the running are William and Brian. Sorry, Jesse, I don't know you that well.
That's fine.
But
I
these
wouldn't have
two,
volunteered for that position either.
We have
These
different
two
skill
are-
sets.
flipping amazing. Like
You try-
that
you try.
deserves the
I
edit
fake it
so that
well.
we can. Yeah.
What's that?
Fake it well.
Oh, I
I'm
think
just staying ahead of the snowball that's getting bigger and bigger.
honestly, is there any IT person who doesn't fake it well? Because I mean, things come up and it's like, you've got to do this now, and it's like, guess I'm doing this
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
Well, but that's just where it gets into more of the non nuts and bolts, analytical problem solving, not fucking panicking.
Don't.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
to quote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, don't panic.
And to be fair, that also that doesn't come from just you being able to not panic. That comes from you've accidentally cut enough wires and taken enough people offline that the panic just doesn't bother you anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can clench without stopping.
Yeah.
Like the one.
I got into trouble from your current CIO for not panicking.
Oh,
He
you weren't
didn't
you
like
weren't
how
you weren't
non-flustered I
reacting.
was.
You weren't reacting.
Appropriately he was literally standing behind me in the cube, and I was not at all flustered. I was just fixing stuff.
Yeah. That is
He
not
was
helpful
upset that
at
I was
all.
not upset.
Yeah.
Like,
I
no,
had
I
a-
have stuff to
Not
fix.
helpful.
I had a 3-month check-in at an employer where literally the critique was, well, we really, really like how like calm and steady you are in a crisis. I'm like, awesome. So like, what could I improve? Well, some people say that like you're not urgent or responsive enough. I'm like, so those are the same thing, right? And they were like, huh. So yeah, you really need to work on that responsiveness in a crisis. I'm like, so you don't. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
It's fine.
Like-
I get it. And a lot of people see lots of movement and people freaking out, and they think that is forward progress, which is not necessarily the case. In fact,
No.
in most cases, it is not the case. If you're freaking out, you're not getting things accomplished. You are not thinking clearly. My job is to fix things. It's not to make you feel good about how much I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
Somehow your perception is screwed up. You should take comfort in the fact that I am not freaking out and I am just fixing what needs to be fixed instead of running around with a chicken with my head cut off.
I was-
like a chicken.
In my previous employment, I was somewhat blessed by a boss who would wait to yell at me for all the things that he got angry about, like during it. But what he did when we had an emergency situation is he would basically get in the way of the cube section where I sat and basically keep everyone that way.
Yeah, run interference.
Yeah.
That's what
Like, oh, you have a problem. Yeah, well, so do like 8,000 other people. Go
if
sit
you
at
aren't
your
the
cubicle,
technical
come find
person,
you.
if you aren't the technical person and you're in the team, your job is to run interference.
Yeah.
Whatever that interference looks like, right? Like, I will say where William is at right now, over the last 2 to 2.5 years, um, a really solid practice for dealing with incidents was developed. And it wasn't by accident. Like, way more incidents than should have happened. But the practice for incident management within that business is actually one of the most impressive things about the business today. Um, you could wish that you didn't have that experience, but that's the way it goes. And because of that, they deal with incidents and outages really, really well and actually really quickly. Um, I watch that business deal with outages like probably like Google does, which is super impressive. Um, and I've seen it compared to other organizations where like, "Whoa, the hair is on fire!" Whoa!
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, you
It
can't
is
have
better than than places have been previously. I agree.
If you can have like
Good to hear.
30 people on a priority one call and nobody's saying anything, I'd consider that a good place to be.
That's pretty close.
You have 30,
Yeah, no, I would
if 30
say
people on a priority one call, 28 of them should drop off a call.
so.
I'm dead
what-
It's
fucking
not-
serious.
No, no. I mean that you would think that, right? But having watched that business evolve, what inevitably happens is you've got like between 1 and 5 core technical resources, right? Like
Yeah.
really effective technical resources. If it's a big issue, you will collect another 5 to 7 less capable but still useful technical resources. You're also going to collect some management around them. And if they're trained right, they're largely listening in so they can do side channel communication to their management. And then you have like what you really need on incident calls. You have like communication resources whose job it is to listen in, check in an unobtrusive way, and then report back. And that's the trick. How do you, as like a technical resource who's not the technical resource, check in with 5 other technical resources in an unobtrusive way? Like,
Yeah.
how do I ask you a question that isn't going to stop your flow and still get enough information to report back to execs?
Like right now, there are questions that are kind of asked out into the void in these calls, and they've been very good at someone on the call being able to answer that. Not necessarily the people you think would be the ones to answer that either, but they're not really in the conversation other than paying attention to what's going on, and maybe they're looking at something that, hey, I know this system, I know this is on the back end. They're checking on things. They're not even entering into the regular troubleshooting stream. They are crossing off all they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's, and then reporting back on that part.
Just because no one's saying anything, like, you better be damn well be doing your job.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, you're doing your job.
I think the thing that has spoken volumes to me, in my experience, granted it's been a month and a half, but I don't think much has changed. The amount of silence that is present on these technical calls is really pretty mind-blowing. Like, people will go 5-10 minutes without saying anything because they're chasing down things and also aren't checking out of the call, which is really
Which
important.
is a good thing. I would consider that a good thing.
Right. Like
Yeah.
they're collaborating still, right? They're posting things to chat. They're chasing down whatever thread they've managed to tease out.
Yeah.
But they're working the technical issue in the best way they know how.
Yeah.
Without
And
closing down like
and the
channels.
best, and you shouldn't be sitting there. You shouldn't have all these people talking out loud to themselves of what they're doing. Gather information where relevant. Put that information to other dots in the storyline, and do that type of thing to the best of your ability. And, well,
Also,
there you go.
Some of those users are also, some people in that call are also doing the documentation.
Right.
They're literally filling out RCA documentation,
Right.
writing
Yeah.
down when things happened,
Yep.
following up with people who aren't saying anything, or they're following up later, documenting the things that need to be improved and what should be the next things.
Yeah, and you want to be the guy who is rambling his mouth, and so and so has now had to correct himself. So and so has now had to correct himself. He had to correct himself. I don't want that showing up.
They're not quite like
some-
that. No.
No, I know what
like-
you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, but
So at this point, that operation, no one like that shows up. Even if they're like that, they don't say anything. But to William's point, like they've embraced the spirit of ITIL in incident management, where somebody's the scribe and is taking notes. They've accepted, I'm not the technical resource. I'm just doing things. So when somebody says, "Hey, I found this," the question from the scribe is, "Great. What time did that start?" Or, "Hey, I'm doing this." And then like 30 seconds later, they say, "You're doing this. What time did you hit go?" Right? Like they're recording the narrative and the flow, and they will totally follow up between 30 minutes after and 6 days after. Like, "Hey, go back and look. Like what happened here? Here's what I have. Does this match with what you know?" And between chat records and like logs on systems, you can reconstruct a really good narrative, but it means that the technical people don't have to. They can just focus on finding out what the cause is and solving it. Which is, you don't want to have outages ever, right? Like, it would kind of be great to never have this skill, but welcome to modern IT. You'd better have this skill.
especially in any, like, I don't know where you draw the line. More than mom and pop level one-man band IT people, right? I mean, like, billion-dollar organizations, all the bets are out. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Because
it won't fly. None of that cowboy stuff will fly. You can't.
Yeah, when there's the mom and pop level where the cowboy stuff is kind of what you have to do to get along and survive. And then there's the like billion-dollar organization where you couldn't survive at that level, let alone let it fly. Everything in between. Don't be a cowboy. Be a Marine. Do your job.
So back to wiping former employers' drives and shit.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask that. I'm like, well, I read your video here, and I was thinking about this news article that I read about some guy getting 7 years in prison.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, did
So-
you read the same article?
Yep.
Here,
Clearly.
I'll actually
So-
post it.
So here's my 3 comments. Number 1, it's China. So guy got off light.
Guy's lucky he
Yeah.
still has his hands.
Potentially.
No, he's lucky he's alive. What this guy is this is a guy where his managers that ignored him for some reason felt bad enough that they're willing to say to the party, "No, maybe don't kill him."
Yeah.
And cogent enough to say, "Don't kill him, make him an example." Because if you kill them all, like, it's just rumor and conjecture, right? Like, but no, if you sentence him to 7 years in jail, then everybody understands that what's really happening is they're dead and all of their family is dead because it's China. Second, I don't care where you work. Don't demonstrate the flaws on your company's system.
No, probably
third,
not a good idea.
No.
It's not just one. 4 database servers. He took out 4 database servers and then he salted the earth after. He made sure that they weren't going to recover it. Why? Because who knows why? He got 7 years in prison.
He felt slighted because they didn't listen to his suggestions.
Right. And then he did the thing that made sure they would listen to his suggestions after they put him in prison.
I think I told
I
Brian.
mean, if his suggestions were, hey, you should have more secure backups.
That was part of it, actually. But yeah, it was security and access in general, and I think backups was part of it, if I remember right. So it was a while ago I read it.
What this guy needed to remember is that old Western adage of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
And if you don't, I'm going to kill the fucking horse. So.
Right. So that's the thing. Like in the Western world, we don't kill the horse. We let it die. Right. If you kill the horse to prove that like, hey, if the horse had been drinking water, wouldn't it died? Like, nope.
Yeah.
Are we the horses or the leaders?
I don't know. I don't know.
Or in China, you just have
the company the horse.
But I guess my point is that if you're feeling slighted and weird about this, well, let me back up. If you're feeling slighted and weird about this and feeling like the tingles of like, I'm going to demonstrate it to him, maybe move to a help desk because you do not belong in operations. You have to control that urge. To your point, we've all felt it. Like, what if I had the moment? Like, fine. But like, if your hands drift towards the keyboard,
go for
check
a
yourself.
Walk. Yeah, I mean, had employers who believed in security by obscurity and hey, it's safe on my machine. There's no way anyone can get to it, and they're telling this to me as a domain administrator. It's like, no, I can go get it. It may be the one only time I ever do it, and I may never be able to do it again, but I can get there.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean this file?
Yeah. ownership, mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If they're that lax on it, it's not the only time you're going to get to it.
Yeah.
Because they can't run the business. So you always have rights that you probably don't need all the time.
Well,
interestingly enough, I'm in an org where I don't always have those rights, but I can check them out.
Yeah.
Well, and we're very commonly in a position of trust. We have a lot more access than a lot of other people do.
Yeah.
We can see things that we probably shouldn't look at.
Yeah,
and I will tell you, I don't.
Yeah, and I don't because I don't care.
Don't. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
More importantly than I don't care, I actively don't want to know.
Yeah.
Like I've baked that into my heart.
Yes.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's going on between legal and the executives in the company. Like I don't want to be part of the rumor mill. I don't want to know what anybody is saying about somebody else. I don't want to see the files. What I want is to do my effing job.
Yep.
And I'm sure you've had this conversation with a lot of other people, Chris, but we've had this conversation also. Once you lose your trustworthiness in our position, you don't have a job. Like that, your trustworthiness is above and beyond any particular skill set you may have. If you're not trustworthy, you are not useful.
Oh yeah, it's a career ender.
Correct.
It
Well,
may
not
not have been
small
shown the door
markets.
yet, but they're looking for the knob.
Yeah.
So that trustworthiness comes in, interestingly enough, on both ends. Like, if you're too disclosing, if you're too forward, if you're too candid, your direct reports are going to be like, I can't trust that guy to be in a meeting,
Mhm.
right? At the same time, if you're not candid enough, they're like,
Well,
oh, I can't trust that guy to tell me the truth.
you need to
It's
know
the
the difference.
weirdest,
You need to know your
yeah,
audience.
it's the weirdest
Know
fine
your
line
audience. Yes.
to walk.
Know your audience.
Because you should be able to, like, say you're just like a department lead or manager, or let's say a department lead. You're just the senior guy over a couple of other engineers or something. You should be able to be 100% open and honest about, like, completely candid with all those people, and they should be able to do the same to you. But now what goes that next step out of your particular group, that's where that you need to know what information it needs to be honest, but it doesn't necessarily need to be 100% complete when there's no reason for that. Because there's some people that'll take every opportunity to throw other people under the bus or just shit talk or what good does that do? That doesn't do
Right.
anybody any good.
I mean,
But you can be
people-
honest without
people in leadership that are looking to throw people under the bus, particularly in IT operations, do not belong in IT operations.
I agree completely. And
Um,
in a perfect world, it would be like that. And we don't
Right.
live in a perfect world.
I mean, I will, if there's one thing I want to out of this YouTube channel, it's to proselytize the idea that, like, you know what? Sometimes you don't belong in this line of work and you should find another one.
Those people
Because-
would never bother watching.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Unfortunately.
But their subordinates might help them find a new position.
Ooh, true.
My
it's like that
main
in a lot of-
hope is that people above them might like catch 15 minutes of this channel and also discover a truth.
Yeah. And it may be a brutal one for them, to be honest.
Sure,
Yeah.
it might be.
Yeah.
It might be. But you know what? Discover a thing, grow as a person and a manager, and fucking clean house.
Well,
It's
there's
not going to
some-
be your low level people that leave. Just saying.
And like sometimes discretion and holding back details that are irrelevant sometimes is the case. Brutal honesty is also sometimes part of our job, especially when it comes to things that are like security. Not that you need to fluff things up, but don't try and blow smoke up somebody's ass and tell somebody everything's fine when it is clearly not. You have to tell people the answers that they need and the truth, not the answers that they want to get.
Right. And
Correct.
your upper management's going to tell you, no, we're not going to upgrade that enough, without you accidentally convincing them that something's okay when it isn't.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to fight for those wins when you need them.
Yeah.
Right. My favorite adage from William's current boss and my former one is never waste a good outage. Like,
Let it burn a little bit longer than you want it to burn.
no, you don't even need to do that. Here's the thing. Once it's burned, upper level management is super touchy.
Yeah.
And like, if you say, hey, it's only going to cost us
Yeah.
X amount to make sure that
It
this never
doesn't,
happens again.
as long as X
Yeah.
is a real number,
Yeah.
and isn't like bordering infinity,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna get it.
Strike
Yeah.
when that iron's hot.
Start whipping your dick around like David and Goliath and just like, ready to let it sling.
Thanks. I never had that image before.
Now you do.
Now I do. And now I'm like, oh, I'm fucking David.
Crack that thing like a whip.
Like we used to have an old monitoring system that was on its own little box, and we've talked about replacing it for years. Never, no, can't get the money. That thing died, and we didn't know about it for like 4 weeks. Like the other systems didn't really go down like that badly, and then we had a big outage. Like, why didn't anyone know? Why didn't it went down? Immediately got the funding for like I think we replaced the whole thing with Logic Monitor. It just exactly. Money chest is open. Make this problem go away.
Yeah.
Or the old there's make it rain, right?
Yeah.
And there's
Make it hail.
make it hail.
Well, once that outage happens and there's an actual dollar cost associated with it, it all becomes real at that point. I mean, Jesse, you and I were talking about it, 2 weeks ago before you went on vacation, when we were looking at the average cost for a site to be down.
Yeah.
The cost for a site to be down for 1 hour would easily pay for everything that
full
Jesse
stack,
and I want for like
full stack,
high availability network wise.
So,
like
let's
easy.
let's
But it's still a battle.
let's do a thought experiment. I'm going to propose a thing that the rest of you viewers can't see. Hold on.
Step away from-
So I'm going to do some shifted numbers because I know at least 2 of the 3 numbers on this call. In some environments, that number might be as high as outage for a day costs $50 million, right? In other environments, that number might be like 100K. I don't care where you're at. If you're in the 100K environment, the scale of your environment is likely such that 100K is going to pay for a lot of stuff. And if you can avoid one outage in the next 5 years, the cost is worth it.
Oh yeah.
If you're in the like $50 million environment, if you can spend $50 million to avoid it in the next 5 years, it's worth it. Outages are really effing expensive.
Yeah.
And as soon as you quantify what that outage costs you, then you can have the conversation about what is this worth to spend. And basically, the limit is the outage plus somewhere between 50% and 200%. Or more, depending on how awful it was. But if you're in operations right now and you're like, hey, we had this outage, it cost us a day of work, and it cost the company 50 grand, go to your management right now and ask for 100 grand to prevent that outage for the next 5 years. Not guarantee it's going to be gone, but like 98, 99%, you're not going to see this again.
Yeah.
You know what? They're going to hem and haw, and maybe they don't give it to you. And then you find the lower cost solution, which you actually wanted to buy. And that's what you get.
It's a dance.
You've also
If
primed.
that-
I was gonna say you've also primed the faucet a little bit there too, because now they know you're asking for this thing. Next time budgeting season comes around, that request shows up. They're not, struck out of the blue by it. They know why you're asking for such and such a thing, and they've got an idea what if they want to say yes or not.
Yeah, and
Right.
that goes right back to, I think, was it Chris said, don't let a good outage go to waste or something. Don't be sweeping outages under the rug either. Bang
I'm gonna give
bang
credit.
that alarm. Bang the alarm. Hello, McFly. Problem. Like, I'll fix it for you, but you're gonna get the cowbell.
I'm giving credit to Ryan Lang on that one. Never let a good outage go to waste.
We said that a lot.
He
when I
said it a
worked together
lot.
before.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a paraphrase of "Don't let a crisis go to waste."
Like we all owe
Yeah.
him a whiskey.
No, make that happen.
It's a dance. It's a dance.
It is a dance, and it's an unfortunate dance, right? Like, we're all technical people. We don't want to have to dance. We didn't get into this to dance.
Yeah.
We're still in it because we've discovered that, like, occasionally we can dance.
Yeah. I didn't get into relationships with women either to like deal with them, but here I am. So
Right.
I guess I gotta do that dance too. So life is a dance, no matter what you're doing.
Life happens. Or sorry, life finds a way.
Finds a way.
Yeah. So back to inappropriate behaviors of operations people. Dude gets 7 years. Awful.
I've never heard a case in the United States getting anything close to that, but there are people that have gotten jail time and
Sure.
or
Probably
massive civil judgments.
Yeah,
I suspect-
definitely. It's rare. It's pretty rare.
Oh yeah,
think.
yeah. I think most cases don't really get publicized because it's
Correct.
kind of embarrassing for everyone involved. The last major one I remember hearing about was for a network engineer for, I think it was the city of San Francisco. Maybe it was whatever their county is.
I don't know the county out there.
But it had to have been 10 years ago.
Right.
Just started deleting shit.
But I'm gonna bring it back.
So his
to
was a weird one. He had all the routers set up to the configs weren't saved. They were all so for the whole WAN for, I don't know if it was the city or the county, was all set up. All the routers were set to basically you reboot them, you have a blank slate.
Yeah.
He did this
Reload.
for security reasons.
Reload in 5,000.
Yeah. So he got let go basically because he was a megalomaniac, as you might be able to infer. And in the process of trying to get his hooks out of all the systems that he was in, somebody went through and rebooted all the routers. So everything went face down in the dirt.
Oh, it's kind of an inadvertent, like a dead man switch kind of thing.
And he also didn't hand over passwords. They basically had the police pick him up and brought him into somebody's office, and he refused to give up the passwords unless it was to somebody that he deemed qualified to get those passwords. Which,
That's my
once
favorite
again, megalomaniac.
Unless you're
It should have been,
qualified.
here's a password. It's not my problem anymore. Sign this saying I'm not liable for whatever the person does, and
Right.
deuces. So
Like,
I
if the
don't
cops
remember the
pull
exact
you in,
outcome.
You say, hey, I'll give the passwords over, but I will not be liable for their bullshit. And the cops are like, you'll not be liable. Like, get me a lawyer and let me sign whatever you need me to sign, and then you sign it too. And every detective on the planet's gonna be like, I'll get you a lawyer.
Yeah, if you're in a position where you need that, I guess sure. But to be as a someone who is acting in reasonably good faith, you will never be prosecuted ever for any even if you are a dumbass.
You won't be
at your
convicted.
job.
You won't
You
be
will never
you won't
ever
be convicted, but you probably won't be prosecuted. But only if you hire a lawyer.
if
Because
you're
you
in
know
that-
what companies are? They're kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And they're like, why is this melting down? Everybody who's still on staff in that environment is gonna be like, wasn't me. It was that guy. It's that guy.
Yeah, you just blame the last guy who left for every
Right.
problem. Yeah, that's
I
standard
mean,
operating procedure.
I've said it
so.
every company I've been at, like, hey, I'm leaving. You get to blame me for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
And if you're smart, for a year and a half.
Yes.
No,
We gotta
you write
digging
3
through-
letters.
Yeah, you're writing the 3 letters.
digging through old Slashdot articles.
That site's still around? Holy shit.
Yep.
Um,
Used to live on
June
there.
2012, found out he was going to be fired from an oil and gas company, Enervest. In response, decided to reset the company's servers to the original factory settings. He also disabled cooling equipment for Enervest systems and disabled the data replication process. After pleading guilty in January, he's been sentenced to 4 years in federal prison.
Ooh. I hadn't heard
You know what
about
that
that
guy-
one.
You know what? That guy went to work for the NSA. Guaranteed.
You get a job after.
Federal prison.
Yeah, you do 4 years and then you go work in some, black hats shit somewhere where
No, Jesse, those are the white hats. They work for
white
our
hats.
government. They're good people.
Another guy got 2 years in prison and had to pay $26,000 in restitution after sabotaging the ISP he used to work for.
yeah.
I'm reminded now to bring up the Bastard Operator from Hell. If you've never read it, BOFH, or The Bastard Operator from Hell, it's a web series that went on for probably longer than it should have. But if you want to understand the havoc that an ill-motivated, inappropriately compensated, megalomaniac operations person can have, and why we all need to have ethics, read that. It'll be fun.
And it's a very entertaining read.
It is funny as heck.
It'll take you a while to get through them all. But
I'm surprised there hasn't been more espionage level sysadmins who do ransomware kind of thing, or phishing, inside level phishing, that kind of stuff, where because they would know what it would take to get a successful phishing campaign, right? Or you
Where they wouldn't call
ransomware.
it.
Yeah, the CFO, you ransomware the CFO's laptop, and you make it what, $5,000, easy $5,000, right? I don't know.
yeah. Well, so I just read, oh boy, this must have been a week or two ago. Once again on Reddit, it was somebody talking about somebody had left, like a previous senior system administrator, and then they started auditing everything and realized they were running mining software on all the on-prem stuff plus a whole bunch of cloud stuff, and it was
man.
really hidden. It was
Really?
tens of thousands of dollars worth of
Ooh,
cloud billing for probably making him negligible money.
yeah,
But yeah,
wow.
shady characters. I don't know. You're in a position of trust,
Yeah,
and a lot of times, if you're clever enough, you can grossly betray that, and nobody will ever know. This guy If I remember right, he had been at the company for like 20 years or something crazy. So he was clearly trusted by everyone, but he was clearly a piece of shit and taking advantage of the situation.
I mean, if he wasn't making money, I mean, you're better off just stealing toilet paper out of the bathroom. You know?
Yeah, or just move on.
Or yeah, you could probably get more. You'll get more money working somewhere else than you would trying to scam the place. Yeah.
That's the thing. Yep. Just move on.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, why you got to put in all that work? You got to go through all that stress of that. You know, is death breathing down my door today? Kind of thing. It's like, I mean, it's just not. It's not worth it. It ain't worth it.
If you're prone to that kind of behavior, that isn't stress. It's not how that brain works.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah, I mean, if you don't lie, you never have to remember anything.
Right. Like, that's just exciting. You're like, I feel alive.
Yeah.
I don't deal well with that emotion. That's
no. Like, I think the majority of us ops people don't, which is why we're good at our job. Like, no, like I don't want to feel alive.
Like, quite as good.
I would rather feel like comatose, asleep, dead, whatever. Like,
put my servers asleep and hear nothing from them until morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, my job's boring, and that's just the way I like it.
Yeah. A little excitement now and again is all right, but yeah.
Yeah, but not that kind. Not the kind where, like, if I get found out, I'm gonna go to prison. Like, nope.
Well, that's like was it called kleptomaniacs or whatever, where like
they just want to get caught.
Or like it's you know, you don't need to steal the candy bar from Target, but steal it like that, like
you do it
on the
anyway,
rider effect.
Risk.
Yeah, yeah, that little high you get from taking the candy bar from Target. Yeah, I don't know.
There's my advice for companies. If you think that your operations people feel dead inside,
maybe
fix that for them.
As a whole, yes, that's definitely a thing. But you know, you get every once in a while you get that guy who comes out and rises heavily to the top, and then you see him do the old perp walk down the street with the cuffs in his back because he embezzled $100 million from the company. Mm-hmm. That's far more common than some guy, I don't know, stealing Post-it notes.
Nobody goes to jail for Post-it notes.
Yeah, nobody goes to jail for Post-it notes. Yeah.
See, I think it's honestly the middle lower. It's the old lady in the accounting department that wears the goofy sweaters that just embezzles a couple tens of thousands of dollars at a little company.
That is
never gets found out, or it never gets publicized because everybody's embarrassed about it.
Yeah,
I think that's way more common, even in dollar amount, than probably the big,
the big,
where it's a level doing something crazy.
It's the greed and the hubris. If you could have just kept yourself at your little victory, you'd have been fine.
Or the church treasurer, little victory.
Right. Where it is it's the level where you're like, it's not enough money to have taken the risk.
No,
and like, you're not in a position where we expect this level of hubris from you. So what the F? If you're talking about like C level, where it's like, yeah, you let me have the power, so I totally took you for multiple millions of dollars. Like, at that point, everybody's like, well, he was a dick.
We kind of knew that when we hired him.
But also,
of course,
the business has to be huge for multi-millions of dollars to just walk away without anyone noticing.
Yeah. But what Brian said, I mean, you slice an extra 10 grand off the cheese a year.
Yeah. A lot of times it won't get noticed. And a lot of the times it's not even necessarily that they need the money. I mean, sometimes it is. Sometimes there's a degenerate gambler or they have a drug problem or there
Yeah.
is some like not legit reason, but there is an actual reason why they're doing it. But sometimes it is hubris or it's like they feel entitled to that because, well, I work real hard and I'm not appreciated. So I'm just going to take what I think I deserve.
Yeah, they can't leave and find another job. They have to just like try to take it out on whoever their employer is.
Exactly. And usually the people that feel like that are usually not the most valuable people in the organization.
Right.
But in their own mind,
They had
they're the
they had
backbone of the organization. Yeah. This place wouldn't run without me, so I deserve that $1,000 here, that $1,000 there.
They're quite the inflated ego and opinion of self-worth.
Yes.
See,
and you never find that in IT.
This is a message for all the junior, entry-level, and mid-level people that are like, oh, this company doesn't know what I've got for them. Like, you know what? They don't. Also, they don't care. Yeah. And you shouldn't either. Yeah. Get over yourself because they already did.
Yeah. You're not as bad as they think they are, and you're not as good as you think that you are.
Yeah. No, it's always somewhere in the middle.
It's better to find it, and if you're that worried about it, go work somewhere else. Don't put yourself on the path to prison over some stupidity.
Yeah, you don't want prison for sure.
Yeah.
No. Another thing Ryan and myself have said, and Chris has probably been involved in. It's not that you're a good IT worker. It's that everyone else is really bad.
Yeah, the bar is just that low.
The bar is strangely low.
It's painfully slow, and we have to deal with that crap all the time. It makes us all look bad when that dude that only showed up because of free pizza party and the chance to win an Xbox, and now they've got the piece of paper that says they're an IT professional. Oh. That is awesome for you. Now just go back to flipping burgers or something because you're shitting yourself. Now, occasionally, those
want a career in IT?
Yeah.
Are you interested in computers?
Oh God, what were some of those?
I love computers. My Xbox is the best.
Yeah. I'm killing it on Facebook.
Effing hobbyists.
Farmville.
Yeah,
Farmville. My Farmville has more whatevers than anyone else. I don't even know.
Or if you want to, if you want to go even back,
I don't think
go further back and say it's like I'm awesome at Evany.
Yeah.
This face right here. This is the face that'll stab you in an alley.
I mean,
ITT Tech.
I mean, Andrew, I'm a graduate of ITT Tech, so.
Yeah, we could tell. No, I'm just kidding.
And I finally, unfortunately, with all the ITT Tech, hey, we're all forgiving all your loans. Well, unfortunately, if you graduated, they're not paying your loan off. They only paid the loan off if you failed to graduate.
Jackals.
And
now, like I said, sometimes good people do come out through that.
Well, I'm going to advocate for something.
All those types.
So I'm going to advocate for something. Any decent employer of Williams should look at his student debt and look at what they're getting from him in a 6-month period and pay it all.
Chris, it's gone.
I know.
Oh.
Don't tell them that.
Don't tell them that.
Just this year, finally. It took 10 years, but it's gone.
Yeah, I don't care. Okay. Like, whatever your student debt was 4 years ago, any company worth their salt.
You should double it and create fake invoices or something. I don't know.
Because you know what you do?
Didn't we just talk about this?
and even though it's not code to talk up ITT, to be honest, I don't think I would have went back to college if it hadn't been. They basically railroaded me back into college along with a friend of mine, and I went back to school for digital entertainment and game design, switched to programming, and then ended up in ops because I did ops work while I was in college to pay the rent.
Yeah.
And then the recession hit, so.
Yeah, that's what got you there.
Oh, probably 2008.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ops work does pay the bills. Not well, but it does pay them.
And pay well.
It pays okay.
Says the network guy.
Oh, really? We
Network
get
security,
blamed
thank you
for
very
all
much.
of your shit. You know that, right?
Yeah, always.
No, I do. I totally know. Like Brian and I developed a pattern and a really functional pattern where someday when Brian's like a multimillionaire and running his own consultancy, he's going to hire me to be
Yes.
the Brian translator.
Yes.
Where people are like, is it the
We have
network?
this all
And I'm
worked
like,
out. You laugh, but we have this all worked out.
is it the network? And I'm like, you know what? Hold on. Let me ask. And I'm like, hey, Brian, they're asking me if it's the network. So while you do what you do every day, every
Oh.
minute, I'm now going to go back to them and say, it's not the fucking network. And they're like, that's really strong language. I'm like, would you like me to get the network engineer on the line? Because he's just going to make you wish you weren't born.
Not that bad, Christ.
At that level, yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I really think it's the worst when you're the ops guy and the network guy, and then they come to you and they have both of those problems at the same time.
Like,
Yeah. So you're
Like,
just
no,
like,
if it's not
you
me,
don't
it's
have-
me. Damn it.
doesn't-
you can't do
yeah.
one of these. Like,
It's like the Spider-Man.
It's just a big blanket. You can't even be as the network guy. It's you. It's your problem.
No, my favorite is when the software people come to him like, hey, we're having an issue. Could it be this thing? Like,
oh, the fucking developers! Oh, they're the worst.
You
oh
don't-
my god!
you don't actually
Oh my
know
god,
what
everything
that
just
thing
stopped.
does.
Did you make any changes to the firewall? What? You just deployed code and it doesn't work. Why are you asking me about the firewall?
When they come to your desk and try to ask you back when we actually had people in the office, preempt their question with how many rows.
Oh, nice, nice. Oh, 300,000, huh?
Yeah. And you're trying to do what to that client side?
Or
Nah,
It
Or
is
the-
good
my
luck with
favorite.
that.
We're like, hey, you know what? You're having this performance issue, and you know what we can track it back to? Your last deployment.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you know the
Corey
last time
does
we deployed
7
network
full table
stuff?
scans. That's impressive.
Hey,
or
we deployed a week later, and we didn't have any impact on your stuff.
or a junior developer turns on SQL profiling in production.
Hmm.
Or I think one of my
Hold
other
on.
favorite ones is the
Woosah.
every
Woosah.
so a previous employer of mine has a table, and it's got a big int for a primary key. And every 3 to 5 years, they run out of
rolls
keys.
over.
And so there's this
At least use the double unsigned.
so there's like a 20-minute like accusation of finger pointing at the ops team, and it's like
I don't control your bad primary keys.
Yeah. What else was it? Yeah,
All right.
just the finger pointing.
Let's talk about another interesting phenomenon that Brian and I talked about recently.
Did you even get to point 2?
I did. Got to
Oh, you
point
did?
3 even.
Oh, okay.
Been
Yeah,
taking notes.
wait, let me remind you. Point 3 was, it wasn't just one server. It was 4.
Oh, yeah.
And dude salted the earth. Like no recovery possible.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, from a technical standpoint, that's the way you want to do it. If you're going to go out in a blaze of glory.
You just cut the wires on the way out too. So
Because I mean, here's the question, Chris and Brian, and if you just Siri, if you wipe something out and they have backups, do you actually get punished more for doing the wiping if they can recover it, or is it just you've done the same deed?
It's less about. So what happens
It
if
becomes
they can
just
recover it?
financial impact at that point.
Yeah,
Right. If they can recover it, your lawyer can argue that what you did happened in an insight of you knowing that they could recover it.
You committed data assault instead of data murder.
Correct. If you salt it, like if you make sure that their backups will not work, that's data murder.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Well, they would definitely come after you stronger from the lawyer perspective because they got more. You heard them more. You know.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
definitely.
what happens.
You heard
So
them
when
more.
you look at this China case where he totally salted the earth, the only reason we're hearing about this person is because they want to make an example. They want to demonstrate that, like, no, you could go to jail for 7 years or worse.
Yeah.
And the or worse is what's really the threat. In the US, you could go to jail for way longer than that. Our sentencing guidelines are brutal for the strangest things.
Yeah. People
Like,
got 20 years
hey,
for downloading freaking The Matrix back in 2001.
right. But you've got you've got like a kilo of cocaine. Oh, that's going to get you 5 years. You've got an ounce of crack. You're a distributor. That's going to get you 20. Also, The Matrix. That's going to get you 20.
That's your third strike for life.
Anyway, to bring it back to the other thing, what about the hitting this? Brian, can you pop that up? Because I have to
Hitting
mock
this-
this.
Hitting this. Oh my God! Really?
Ah, it's the
Bunch of-
Coke reference.
Who let the
Yeah.
degenerate in?
Yeah.
Zigify, you're delightful and wonderful and talented, but if you're going to drop that, you got to show up live to do it from now on.
Yeah. See, we were PG-13 and now we're R, of course.
So, the sysadmin that installs crypto mining software on every system.
Yep.
I mean, was there excess capacity? Probably.
Well,
Was there excess capacity? That was
so
just
he
theft
did.
of
He did it
electricity
in the
at that
cloud
point.
as well,
I mean, right. So that's the part where
to
it's
the
like,
tune
oh,
of tens of thousands
Yeah,
of
cloud,
dollars a month.
cloud is no good.
but
Yeah.
how much of the cloud was it tens of thousands of dollars? And how much it was it like, well, we paid, like, he got 20% of our output from our on-prem systems. So we paid electrical and hardware and like
Well,
sunk cost, bitches.
You're that,
He
you're
Yeah,
that,
should
I don't
make
know.
the-
This
He should make the argument that, well, the cloud was more efficient, so he was saving the
Yeah.
company money by doing it in the cloud.
Are
Or
you
use all-
drunk?
Well, that's what they say. You know, cloud's more efficient. You know,
It is what they say. It does not show up in court.
it's more
Actually, I
efficient.
kind of want to see that court case because if that efficiency claim was made, I bet it was beaten down to death.
I mean, it's more efficient at lining the operator's pockets. They didn't specify what it was more efficient at.
Fair enough.
Also, I was thinking when you're talking about on-prem crypto mining, I'm like, what did the guy like? What was that storage coin that used up all the hard drives and made my life miserable as a NAS user for a couple of months? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. Chia.
Chia, yeah, fills the sand full of chia.
Oh God, when I built my current PC, one of the SSDs I got, so it was a nice Samsung 9800 Pro. I think the 2T one.
Got it from the
I
battered
checked the
SSD
bytes
shoulder.
written on both of them. So one was like basically 0. The other was, oh God, it was like it was hundreds and hundreds of terabytes written.
Oh,
It was
God.
like,
Jesus.
wow, this thing's basically. I think the lifespan on them was like 750, and it was at like 600 or something. I don't know, but luckily Amazon, they took the return, no problem. But it was a poorly sealed box. That's the main reason that I checked it, because it was like, yeah, this was opened. And the dead giveaway, the sticker on the outside of the box was pretty decent. I didn't really know notice until afterwards when I went back to look at it. The little key book that's on top of the SSD, there's a little sticker that holds it closed. They cut that open. So it's when I opened it up, I saw that was flapping in the breeze. Whereas the other SSD I got was not.
Oh,
I was like, first off, why the hell would they open that?
yeah.
But that was my clue. And then I actually looked at the box and was like, yeah, this was clearly reopened. So I checked them both, and yeah, somebody had probably mined Chia with it.
That's so much data. Like, I've got.
Oh yeah,
I have like a 4 set of 960 Evos as a cache device on my server, and they're barely creeping toward like halfway dead after 6 years. That's so hard on those drives.
oh yeah, it is. Especially all those writes. It's just brutal. They're not made for that. Now you get a nice enterprise drive. Yeah, they can do that, but consumer drives, no.
Intel 700p or what are the 37 DC 3700s? There you go. Yeah, Chia was miserable.
Yep. Is that even still alive? I don't even know.
I mean, it's crypto, so yes.
Well,
Crypto's having a bit of a rough
Dang.
go at it at the moment.
I mean, what isn't having a rough go at it?
Nothing.
yeah, nothing.
Like, is crypto having a rougher go than the stock market? And you might say percentage-wise, yes.
Percentage-wise, slightly, yeah.
But
Yeah.
for crypto, that's like, okay, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got friends that are into crypto, and I'm just like, sucks for you guys. You go all went out and bought your 3080s or 3090s and sat there trying to recoup the inflated costs, and it's just like, man, don't even touch those things while they're that expensive.
If you're trying
Yeah,
to
no.
mine, you are losing money.
yes,
Yes. You would have been
The
better
people
off
got
just
that
buying
Luna.
crypto.
just
Yeah.
like Bitcoin, the people who made the money have already come and went.
I mean, there are still Chinese people making money.
Yes.
I mean,
They
you have the big.
practically free power.
What are those big groups where people bought old power stations that were supposed to be torn down in New York? There's an old coal plant. Someone bought it, fired it back up, and is running mining with it. And the town is suing them because they're polluting the town after everyone went, we're done with coal.
Well,
No, you're
Right.
not. No.
Turns out I can buy carbon credits and pay the fines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
choo
it's-
choo, motherfucker.
it's
Get out of the
essentially
way.
China. Right, like, oh, we're supposed to be carbon neutral tradies. Like, but you know what? We're
Money.
just going to pay you money. It's funny
Yeah.
to me when China's like, we're cracking down on crypto. Are you, though?
yeah.
Not
good
really.
luck.
They're just saying that.
We're cracking down on crypto that we don't control.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
So we-
situation. I mean, we're like in all the charts say we're in definite buy territory for all the things.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
everything's on a discount.
Yeah, which things can hurt a lot more than you think they can hurt.
So here's the fun part. If
Because
you wanna
unemployment
make
still unemployment. Last time I looked at the Fed unemployment chart 3 months ago, we were 1/10 of percentage off the low before the pandemic, which means that everything's low, unemployment is still low, so people have jobs, right? People are still
So-
up, they're getting paychecks.
I mean, unemployment's usually only a percentage of the people actively looking.
unemployment is
Yes.
Is a
yeah.
weird thing, right? Like, it's based on people that file for unemployment.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I had this conversation this weekend. I suspect that at least part of the Great Resignation, if you want to borrow that term, is people that decided that instead of working 2 or 3 jobs, when they stopped working 2 or 3 jobs, their costs to work 2 or 3 jobs went down a lot.
Yeah.
So they found other ways to cut costs. And now they're able to get along with working one. So we've lost that. We've lost what's effectively like 30 to 60% of a labor force of that section. The other piece is a bunch of baby boomers that were close to retirement, looked at the numbers and said, this sucks, but it's not going to get any better. And I'm okay. So, deuces. And that baby boomer bust that we all knew was coming, instead of coming over like a 10 to 20-year period, came in like a 3-year period or a 1.5-year period because they could. So now we're left struggling and we're going to have to figure it out.
It's not the end, but
and then you either automate and reduce your labor needs, or you start paying more and you start competing with other providers or with other companies and taking their employees.
This is way different than the 2008 financial crisis, because we were like tens of hours from ATMs not working.
Yeah, this is not a banking crisis. Like, our financial system is still
functioning.
Functioning is a good word.
Yeah.
It's
So-
there.
So this isn't
Like,
this isn't
banks
this
are
is-
not worried about this, which is why it hasn't shifted at all.
But that still is not a good thing, though, for the commoner.
No, like, from an inflation standpoint, it sucks.
We're closer.
If you look at inflation from 2008, basically, like,
Zero.
not a lot of effect, right?
Zero, yeah.
Now inflation is real.
We're a
And
little
potentially entrenched. Go ahead, William.
Sorry, I'd say we're actually and not. This is just me reading some things, and because I was like 10 years old at the time, we're a lot closer to what the situation was in 1994. Except in '94, they preemptively raised interest rates, and they've done it a little bit later this time. So I don't know if the same thing is going to turn out, because inflation was starting to rise, the economy was starting to cool off a little bit, and the Fed jumped forward with a couple of half-point raises to kind of like get in front of it. And
So
we have been, and we kind of still are. We were banging against that zero bound.
So let's talk about 1994 and the years preceding and following. This is the sweet spot that all modern economists look at, and all
neo-economists.
yeah, right.
Sure. Well, no, like, all of the functioning economists are looking like,
Neo-economists.
the 90s were the sweet. Neo or not, they are the people that are defining economic policy today. AKA,
they are
the economists.
They're the ones who are they are institutionalized.
Yep.
They that's all they know.
Yep.
There's nothing else.
Yep.
Yes.
But who's defining policy? Those people.
Same people that have gotten it wrong every single time.
So Bernanke, I saw an article. Bernanke said that they've been late to respond to inflation.
Late,
yeah. His transitory bitch ass.
What I'm saying is that 94, they made this slight adjustment, right? They didn't need to make an adjustment. That economy was the bomb.
And what were rates like in '94? In the 9-ish percent?
They got
Unemployment
crazy.
or interest?
No, like interest rates,
Interest
like
rate.
9. Imagine
Yeah.
you raise rates to 9% tomorrow. Now
They
what?
have continued to chop interest rates lower and lower and lower to control things without paying attention to the idea that, like, you got to have room to move.
The zero bound.
So
Yeah.
You
in
are in the
February,
zero bound.
in the 12 months that followed February 1994, the Fed under former Chair Alan Greenspan nearly doubled interest rates to 6% in in just 7 hikes, including 2 half-point increases and 1 3/4 point hike.
Because Greenspan was a stone cold bastard. Just saying.
Great, AKA, what was his nickname? The Maestro. Come on, the Maestro.
Thank you.
The Maestro.
Jesse.
Yes,
Thank
Maestro. But like if anybody has a notepad, go on the YouTubes and type in Kyle Bass, A Dangerous Mind, and he talks about Alan Greenspan trading the housing bubble for the .com boom, or trading the .com boom for the housing bubble. Just before then, he quit. He dropped rates to 0 and he quit. I would watch that video. Like he has charts. Like I'm a chart and graph kind of guy because I can.
No, Greenspan is brilliant, but definitely a dick.
Yeah, and he's definitely an academic. He's a Fed academic.
You know what? I don't care if you're an economist, you're an academic.
But
there are no academics that are not economists.
I mean, some of the stuff that he
Sorry,
said
there are no economists that are not academics.
Yeah. Well,
guns and butter, man. Guns and butter.
And even Greenspan was a gold bug before he got in the Fed. And he even talked about purchasing power to Congress. He said we can cut you.
That's because
we can cut you anything. Say again. Say that again.
I said he was a gold bug before he got into the Fed.
Yeah,
and then
before
he discovered the Pentaveret. The people that actually control the world.
Yeah. But he openly spoke about purchasing power. He said we can cut whatever check you want, anything you want forever. He did speak in Fed speak. He was probably one of the best at it. Because I watched like all those guys' speeches. Like if you can get through it, like it's worth it.
Watching Greenspan speak versus watching Bernanke speak, it's like night and day. Bernanke's just like he's like a toddler.
Yeah, and he's like, like you can see his jaw quiver so much when Bernanke speaks. Hopefully, Chris has intentionally turned his video off and on.
You just hear all this like crushing and rumbling.
Yeah.
Crinkly plastic. I had to stop that. It was under my chair wheels.
But yeah, Bernanke he did make tough decisions, more than just what people say. Well, we have more moral hazard today than we ever have before, so forth and so on. We were legit like tens of hours away from like the Great Depression 2.0, like something that's catastrophically bad.
Yeah,
and even someone who's cynical like me,
I'm
to
going
those
to push
institutions,
back on that. I'm going to push back on that.
Okay.
So here's the thing. The Great Depression was repeated hits on really, truly, deeply entrenched wealth in the U.S. And when I say repeated hits, I mean like gut punches. You look at 1929, old money lost every day huge swaths of their wealth. You look at any time between 1998 and now, old money doing fine. Like, yeah, they take hits, like the market takes a hit, not like overly leveraged people.
Properly diversified.
Right.
Well, I not even properly diversified. You and me would be wiped out in a fucking heartbeat. You and I would be slaughtered
Right.
in a
We're-
second. The like you say, the entrenched wealth. Like, I think I get what you're saying. You're kind of taking that and slicing it off even further. I would agree with the entrenched wealth.
So,
They've
and here's the thing
protected
about,
themselves beyond all nation states
because they learned from the Great Depression. And do you know why we went into the Great Depression? Because there was no investment money to bring it back. Like core economic principles, core finance principles, you don't come back from that kind of hit unless there's really solid, deep pockets to bring you back. And in the Great Depression, there weren't. They were gutted. They committed
Well, yeah, leading up
suicide.
to. Well, yeah, because everybody was. I mean,
They didn't
everyone
know.
thought it would never end, so everybody
Right.
was fully invested and leveraged up to their eyeballs.
Right.
So as soon as stuff starts to fall, yeah, you're liquidated. Oh,
Right.
thanks for the house.
Oh,
Thanks for the family farm. Thanks for everything you own.
So all
Yeah.
that entrenched wealth can buy it up, and then 100
Right.
years on,
Yeah.
So
You
today,
can buy out
they
up the country at
protect
pennies on the
themselves
dollar.
really well so that when shit like this happens, you know who buys on a bargain? Those guys. All day, every day.
Yeah, and they're so far ahead where they're another species
Right.
at this point.
If you look at the wealth gap,
Oh,
and I don't like that term, but you look at the wealth gap in 1929, it was huge. But you look at the wealth gap today,
yeah,
it makes that look tiny.
yeah,
and
correct,
that's
yeah.
not an accident. Those
Yeah.
people learned their lessons. The rest of
Yeah.
us did not.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
the rest of us, right? But like the larger population didn't. They're chasing those dreams. If you want to invest like the wealthy, invest like the wealthy. Just do it at a smaller scale. You're not going to get super rich, but you're going to do well,
yeah.
no matter
you do
the
what
economic
you can.
circumstances.
Yeah, you're a conscious observer going through the economic, financial, and social situations that we have is a threat to those guys. Someone who is truly just who is walking around, I hate that, eyes wide open kind of thing where, no political flag. I mean, come on. Like, that's just a joke.
Yeah.
Divide and conquer tactics are just the beginning of all that.
So those are the guys that look at like a Bezos and a Musk and think, meh, they come and they go.
Yeah.
And we're still here.
Yeah.
And we own more than they do long term. Right?
Nouveau reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, their reach knows no bounds. It's limitless. It knows no political affiliation. It has no flag. It has no color. It has no name. It's probably the closest thing to a name is the bloodline that you're attached to.
The only people that are a threat to those people are like Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that guy knows what he's doing. Like he's cracked that code and turned it on its head. Like that's a threat to them. That's actually a competitor to me.
Yeah, and that's why I, with money stuffs, like less is more. Like I don't need to watch the 24/7 money injection, money, every day you get bombarded on whatever. It doesn't. None of that matters. None of it matters. So I less is more. But yeah, I mean, those people know no bounds. They always win, and you always lose forever.
I mean,
Well, you're not
someday you
playing a
can get
game
in there.
against them.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
No,
and so
we
that's
are.
where like the
Eh,
the most beautiful. I think history, when all this, you know, crypto stuff and whatever stuff is all settled, when the dust 50 years from now, like the what was the equivalent of a publicly sourced short squeeze on like the GMEs of the world and AMC, like there will be that much of a textbook written in there, like
and this much of laws to make sure that we can't ever do it again.
yes, like it would
Correct.
like
But the underlying conditions that allowed it to happen in the first place, uncovered
it's
shorts.
Hey,
And
fun
makes
story.
shorts.
Wall Street. It's a den of thieves. It's a snake pit. It's
But if you know
just-
that going in,
The
I
only
think
way
if you know, I think that gets back to, say it again, you know, you walk through it, your eyes wide open, and not to be biblical, because I'm not, but you know, you walk through the valley of the shadow of death with no fear. You're probably gonna be okay. You're
yeah.
probably gonna be okay.
So I'm gonna bring biblical back to you.
All right.
The reason you walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil is because God is by your side.
Who's by your side?
Unless you know that God is your right hand and your shield. If you're walking through the valley of the shadow of death and fearing no evil, you're an idiot.
I think that I would say then, to remove the biblical portion of it, is just to be honest with yourself and everyone around you.
Sure. Understand what you don't know. Right?
Donald Rumsfeld, unknown unknowns.
No, don't quote that guy. He's an idiot. He is a logistical idiot. He is a tactical idiot. He's a strategic idiot. He had a lot of money behind him, and he knew how to make a meme.
Let's just
He
pause
didn't
for a
know what
moment.
it meant.
Yeah.
Let's just pause for a moment and appreciate the clown car that was the Bush administration.
Hey!
Got Rumsfeld, got Cheney.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Cheney, that guy was brilliant. Best investor we've ever had.
Yeah. Halliburton, bitch.
Right? Like, oh, you know what's so it's funny because like Cheney's like, I'm gonna make a lot of money. And then you have Trump who's like, I'm gonna make a lot of oh fuck, I'm not as good at this.
Right.
I should have found a way to be Secretary of Defense. Crap.
Yeah.
I thought the real estate was the thing. It's not the thing.
No. Yeah.
Cheney and his
But Trump did the real estate thing well.
I mean, yeah,
He
but
did- he
that's
just
not where the
wanted-
money is.
defense contract.
He wanted to-
where the money.
Yeah, he wanted to taste the forbidden fruit. So
He's like, ooh, the U.S. government.
yeah.
Wait, so I can get paid to build something, and then get paid to blow it up, and then get paid to rebuild it?
No.
It's like free real estate.
Yeah.
If only he had embraced that. He's like, so I can get paid to build a hotel where foreign dignitaries will stay? I mean, you can, but you're only going to make like a penny on the dollar.
Yeah.
Cheney's like, you know how you can make like $6 on the dollar?
$6. Do we know what Cheney's worth is?
No. Do you know why? Because
that
he's
secret.
smarter than that.
Well, but that goes back to like the psychology of these people. Like, you give me, like I build my net worth. I don't know what you call it, enough to be comfortable forever.
Yeah, I'm not interested in you.
Most,
Jesse,
most
Deuces.
Find an
Jesse,
island. See you later.
If you get yourself to a net worth that is 4 times what is comfortable forever, you and I will talk, and I will give you some crazy schemes that you'll be like, that's got a shot, and they will make you like 10 or 15 times the money.
Chris,
Because I'm a nut.
it is
And
crazy.
that's what you got to be.
It is crazy that you mentioned that, because if you look up what Dick Cheney's net worth is, it's this vast swath between 19 and 150 million. And it's each thing is like 80, 100, 20, but it's all over the place. No one has a clue what this guy's worth.
There's no
And
way he's worth less than Pelosi.
Every one of those is a lie.
Yeah, that sounds really low.
That's tax shelters and shell companies and other people holding money for him because they can't afford not to.
But what is he doing with that? Like, what's Dick Cheney doing today?
Yeah, it says Pelosi's worth 120.
Making more money.
Yeah, but like for what? Was he drinking $1,000 bottle of wine tonight? Like,
If
great.
he wants.
You gonna do that tomorrow?
No,
That puts like a 0.000000001% dent in
Have
your
you
worth.
seen Dick Cheney? That
Yeah,
guy
looks like death.
right. The guy is drinking a bottle of wild turkey.
That's it? Wild turkey?
Nothing wrong with the wild turkey.
There's nothing wrong with wild turkey. No,
It's a good.
I'm just saying.
It's a good bourbon for the money. If you don't like bourbon, but you need to
I
have
guess
some
I'm just
for
saying
cocktails.
if I do this with my bottle of wild turkey and I put it on my 4 foot by 4 foot pile of $100 bills, I guess
It tastes better.
I'm pretty sure Dick Cheney's wild turkey gets put in this holder made of skulls.
Well, I get the more. I get the more.
Here's the thing. He's not Warren Buffett. Right? Warren Buffett,
he's
who telegraphs things and like
Dick Cheney's a psychopath.
Right. Of all the liberal capitalists, I think the only one that actually believes what he's selling is actually Warren Buffett. He's like, please, people, do what I do.
Yeah.
And nobody does.
Well, but he just takes like the basic, kind of buy everything kind of approach rather than the I'm corrupt and I'm going to like buy pictures of your dick to blackmail you with.
Yeah.
And then you're going to give me that contract and I'm going to
actually a really good businessman. Like if I was Jesse, one of the things I would do if you had like that 4 times money, I'm like, hey, Warren Buffett, I don't have a lot of money, but I've got some. I want you to run this money for me. And you'd be like, I got 5 minutes.
All right, Chris, how much you need?
For that investment, I need about 25 million.
Seems high.
That's what you think. Have you met inflation? Let me introduce you to my not friend, close acquaintance, inflation.
Yeah.
Yes, it looks like a dictionary. It's like, hi.
Your wheelbarrow full of cash.
I look friendly. Yeah. I'm going to eat your savings.
Inflation is no fun.
Nope.
That's when you just start embezzling that $10,000 extra from work.
And it comes around.
Full circle, guys.
That's it's not worth it for that kind of money.
Especially not if it's inflated.
For 10 grand, no way.
You can buy some bread today.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not risking jail for anything less than,
Oh, 7 figures easy.
yeah, tens of millions. Yeah.
It's got to. I'm gonna be carted off with the suit and the you know,
I need to
handcuff.
be able to do it once and disappear.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Life-changing event.
Yeah.
Who? No one ever said that resume-changing event had to be like where you find a new job.
Resume generating event.
Resume generating event. Yeah. Yeah. No one said you had to find a new job after that.
Mm. True.
Yeah. This is where he went dark.
Yeah, he'll be back.
He'll be back.
Probably a potty break.
Yeah.
We're almost 2 hours in. Hour and 51
All right.
minutes. Yep. Time flies.
Time flies.
We start slow and then we ramble.
Yeah, that's fine. We came back to it a few times. So
Yeah.
circled back.
You were about that close to getting me on the phone, like walking back from a baseball game.
Oh.
I now no longer drive my car to the baseball game because last time I got a baseball through the rear window.
Oh. That sounds expensive. At least a couple
That
$100
sounds-
bucks.
Yeah.
And the
Oh, 300.
cleanup.
I'm still cleaning it up. Broken
yeah.
glass is like glitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna find glass forever.
Yeah, it's safety glass, so
In
Yeah,
the theater,
you
we
can
call
wear the
glitter
car.
craft herpes because you never get rid of it.
I actually need to take like the rear deck and the rear seats out and actually like get in there. I've got all the glass off of everything, but now it's like in little holes and crevices, and now when the stereo runs, it like vibrates glass in places I can't find, and yeah, it's swell.
That's both awesome and awful.
Driving back with the hole in your rear window is better because it just like continually more and more falls apart.
oh god. It's
So
like the
I mean,
walking
Even a
thing.
trail.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a rear
it's falling
window
into
glass, though.
falling into the car. So you're like dodge the pothole, bump, more falls in.
I didn't realize this was window glass. At least they're like the chunks that are actually findable instead of like hair thin shards that stick into your toe.
There's a couple of those, but it's mostly bigger ones.
Right. Jesse left us. I'm pleased that Jesse's light is now dark enough to actually look like nighttime.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure the back of that chair is like pink in daylight.
Maybe. Kind of looks like a Speedo.
It does. When he comes back, let's
A pair
refer
of
to him
rail
as
legs.
Speedo.
Hey there, Speedo legs or
I'm trying
Speedo
to-
chair.
I'm trying to think of something to go with it. We got blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne, and we have like the Speedo chair, and I don't know what to go with.
Ramunda.
That's Speedos for the porn gods.
Wait, is this coat the same color?
No,
Purple?
darker.
Okay.
Jesse, what color is your coat?
Straight black. Black shirt, black coat.
No,
Oh.
But it's
that's
Yeah.
it.
It lights
This
up.
is the silver
No.
black dress thing. That's what's going on right now.
It looks very purple to us.
Can you
Does it?
Can you tell us
Oh,
what
yeah.
color your chair is? Your Speedo chair?
It's green, but it's got this like mesh thing.
What's the mesh thing?
What
This is
color?
just black,
Oh yeah. Of
course it is.
but it's like it's this massive crotch area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. We're calling you
Commenting on
Speedo
that.
from now on.
Yeah, Speedo chair.
Yeah, but this is so green.
Nope.
Looks great
No?
to us.
It's kind of
That's a lovely story.
This
gray
is all
/
just-
minty green.
Purple.
This is all just black,
Dark
and
purple.
then whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
And
it's
then my
it's your camera trying to amplify the shit out of the signal.
Then my
Yeah.
coat lighten up.
A fun story. When you search blue and gold dress, or blue and gold dress is the second item.
Ah,
Blue and
But it
gold.
looks kind of black to me. I don't know.
That's a nice
Yeah.
story. Here, let's
yeah. To us, it looks purple.
Oh,
Maybe
that's
locally.
fine. Whatever.
Also, my favorite thing is that on Wikipedia, the title "The Dress,"
The dress.
Just the dress. You'd think that would be like Monica Lewinsky's dress or something.
right? Like
Some
Coco
other more
Chanel,
notable dress.
Oh,
like little black dress. No, just the dress. What dress? The blue and gold / black and white dress, or black and silver.
yeah. That depends on the tint of your monitor and
Yeah, that's what's going on for us right now, Jesse.
probably you should make a Wikipedia page on.
I know about this, but I had no idea it was like so crazy because yeah, it's totally white and gold in the original photograph for me.
I've calibrated monitors and it's blue and black.
It's
Blue and black.
unimportant what your monitor says.
I know.
It's about exposure and processing after the picture.
Well, and also what else is around it.
Right. The people are like, no, that's white and black. I'm like, your eyes have spent too much time on social media.
I wouldn't spend more than 3 seconds thinking about it.
That's the wisest choice you may have made in your life.
what's the Nietzsche thing? You have to be a proactive consumer of what I forget the wording he uses is, but it's you have to be very proactive about what you choose to consume media wise, which makes more sense today than it ever did when he was saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be a connoisseur of consumables to know
Yes.
what to consume. Which it's like circular reasoning, but I think I know where he's going with it.
Conscientious consumer.
Observer, yes. Yes. Like
Like if you consume
this is
trash,
total
you are
fucking
trash.
bullshit.
Yeah. Like you have to choose people that are better than you to look at and read and exemplify and like chart your own path up out of the cesspool that is the rest of humanity and the
I think
media.
that's a great point, because otherwise, if you ignore everybody, what do? You just wallow in your own like uselessness. Like
Trying to
listen to
remember
people smarter than you.
Trying to remember what the exact quote is, but it's something along the lines of a man that chooses to associate with people smarter than him is smarter than the people he chooses to associate.
Yeah.
Because he is associating with people that are smarter than him. They're dumb because they're not associating with people that are smarter than them.
Yeah.
As a person that has regularly tried to make a habit of associating with people smarter than me, I don't think any of them are less smart than me. They're just really, really generous.
Well, different people have different strengths and weaknesses.
Don't get me wrong. I think that most of my friends value me for things. I don't always know what.
Yeah.
Because
And I mean,
I'm not as smart as them.
Well, but it's not an absolute either. I mean, we're all IT professionals, so we gravitate towards that. But, someone may know more about, I don't know, something else than, it's a spectrum. Like everyone's got their own like peaks and valleys of what they know and what they don't know. And
Like autism. It's fine.
Yeah.
I guess we're all a little bit autistic in our own way. Yes.
Chris, I obviously value you for your beard. If you ever shave, we're done.
You haven't seen my face without a beard.
I think there was that picture on your cube that had like you without a beard.
It's weird.
It is a little weird. And then you remember it's not what's happening here that's important.
Wise man.
All right. Well, about the 2-hour mark.
We did
Yes.
it. We covered no topic completely.
Yes.
Is that a cat in your lap, Jesse?
It's a raccoon.
No.
Wait,
Oh.
Brian, you should end it before I non sequitur us into like some oblivion.
All right. I'm going to end the stream now.
Turn this into
before,
NC-17.
yeah. Anybody that wants to stay on for a minute, please do so.
Thanks for coming, folks.
Thank you for everyone for joining us. The one person who's still watching, like the
Ben.
video, subscribe if you're not already. Only about half of our viewers are subscribed, which is disappointing.
subscribe and hit the bell.
I thought
Hit
we
the
had
bell.
more intelligent viewers.
No,
Ding
you gotta
the
s-
Apparently
You
not.
gotta
Ding
smash
the
that bell. Smash the
Smash
bell.
that like button.
Smash the bell.
Destroy
Smash
it.
the like button. Treat it.
All right.
Treat it
about
like
a
you
week.
should.
Yeah,
Oh,
treat it
God.
like you should. Make it scream. Give it the clap because it's a bell. See everyone in about a week.